But with his exit as a series regular, it does have me wondering about just the future of the Arrowverse in general, which is what this pod episode is about. Michael and I are going to nerd out about the Arrowverse
Let's
and
do it.
whether, yes, and whether or not it's coming to an end, and if it matters that it's ending. I mean, so the Flash, right? I would say at the Flash is on its last leg. Like we're stumbling towards the finish line. I know a lot of us want a season 10. That may not be in our future. But I'm like worried about the actual future of the Arrowverse as the Flash has its last hurrah. I guess I'll say that.
There are a lot of factors in play in this conversation. I feel like the Jesse L. Martin news kind of worked in our favor for this conversation. I didn't want it to come out, certainly, but it definitely pushes towards the con argument for the Flash, in that it suggests that either A, it's on its way out, or B, to use a Dark Knight quote, you live long enough to see yourself become the villain, that the Flash is getting less and less like it was the longer it goes on. And now that we know this upcoming, heavily talked about season 9 is now not going to feature one of the original characters, which again leaves, of course, Grant Gustin's Barry Allen. We now have reports that both Candice Patton and Danielle Panabaker are in the process of negotiating their contract for season 9. So that suggests that we will have that core trinity will be back. So that's good. But the sad thing is that it means that more original characters won't be part of the show as it goes on. So yes, it definitely feels like the show is on its last leg. How much longer can it go on for? Will it continue to lose people? I know Grant keeps renegotiating his contract for one season, and now this report suggests that Danielle and Candice are doing the exact same thing. So how long will those characters stick around for? Will it be like next season will we lose both Caitlin and Killer Frost? The season after that, will we lose Iris? Will it just be Barry with a completely unoriginal or a completely original cast of no familiar faces from the first season left? Do we want to see that? Do we need to see that?
It
You know
sounds
what I,
dark.
exactly. We
It
don't
sounds
need that.
bleak.
This is not like or Arrow, where they lost the Felicity character, so they decided to tell a more condensed story that worked with that actually focused on the original characters, like David Ramsey's John Diggle, or well, Katie Cassidy's other version of Laurel Lance. It wasn't the original Laurel, but they were still, that was the core trinity that Arrow started with. So it was only fitting that it got to buy that with them. But I feel like the Flash could end up doing the opposite route, in that it literally buy that with no familiar faces left. But we don't want to see that. We love these characters, and we want them to stick around. So yeah, it does feel like the Flash is, well, we know the Flash's best days are behind it, but it feels like the Flash's amount of days are there are more behind it than there are ahead of it. But does that mean that it'll go on for a little while longer? Eric Wallace, the showrunner, has suggested that he thinks it could have another few seasons left in it. And I mean, with the right story, it could, but with the wrong cast, it doesn't. So it does feel like it won't go past season 10, but I feel like ever since the news came out this week about Jesse L. Martin and that report about the Flash's days starting to wind down, it might only make season 9. It might not make it to the season 10 finish line that we were hoping it would. I don't know. I'm in two minds about it. Do you think it should? Do you think it shouldn't?
I used to, prior to this season dropping, I was like, it should go to season 10. It should be the lone Arrowverse show that is allowed to go to that season number, because I feel like we're in a different era of television. So we won't, outside of procedurals, the likelihood of other shows getting to a season 10 is just not viable anymore in this TV climate. And then the I was fine. I liked Armageddon. I liked the mid-season premiere. Well, I call it the mid-season premiere, and it deteriorated from there. And I was like, wow, okay. So if this doesn't pick back up as we get through the rest of season 8, I'm kind of scared for what season 9 might even be, only because it does seem like the writing is going more towards the original characters that have become a part of Team Flash. And that's not necessarily, I do want to learn more about them, but not at the detriment of the characters that we've known for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think season 9, like if this is the way it's going to continue to go, season 9 needs to be the last season. They're going to start losing viewers left, right, and center. Especially if Candice Patton is bumped down and more episode counts, because she's missing 4 this season. So if she's like missing a lot in season 9, yikes.
Mm,
Because both Grant and Candace are big draws for the shows themselves. So yeah, I'm not team season 10 anymore, at least currently, based on what we've seen in season 8.
yeah. And I get into the stage where I would like maybe them to do, if they could do a season 9 and season 10 as maybe like event seasons and have them both shortened and make them Armageddon, like, so like go all out to let the show bow out properly. I would like that because let's be honest, I don't see the show ending without one final showdown between Barry and the Reverse Flash. And now that Tom has finally departed the show because of they kept repopulating his characters over the years, and then they had that face off with the Reverse Flash and Armageddon. It feels like the show has kind of pulled on every thread it possibly could, and now all that's left is this kind of unusually cheesy 70s like TV procedural that we're left with. And yeah, if it wants to, it could go on for years, but the heart is no longer there. So I would like them to bring its heart back for one final arc related to the main characters. So if it goes on longer without, we have to say the three original actors now, because unfortunately Jesse's no longer a full-time part of the show. But like, for example, that's still 4 main characters. For example, if Candace left, then you're left with that leading lady. Nobody wants to be in that place. That's a horrible idea. But at the same time, if Danielle leaves, you're automatically down 2 characters, because that means Caitlin and Killer Frost is gone as well, and then you're left with more original characters. I say original, I mean newer characters. That's not good either. Of course, the original thesis is that the Flash can live on as long as it's just telling the Flash's story. But I feel like what we've got to know about the Flash is such a family-driven show over the years is that if it starts to go on without that family, what is even the point? So if it can do season 10, but keep the characters around and bring back some more original characters and start telling the stories that are important, I'd be okay with it as long as it's a short one. But at this current stage, if it's going to keep going in the direction it could, I can also understand why a shortened 9th season would be the best place to bow out before it becomes completely unrecognizable.
Yeah, I think this is a question that we're going to need to revisit after season 8 concludes. I mean, because we could be just in a very bad spot in the middle of the season 8 storyline, and then by the time we get more towards the end, it really picks up. That is what I'm hoping.